a place where I'm, really ready to jump out there with clients. Oh, there's Craig. Good for Craig. Just in the nick of time, Craig. You're saving me here. I like the scripts. The breakout sessions have been scary to start with, but found that they were not as scary as I thought they were going to be. Chatted with Sue and another lady earlier on. I have her in my notes, but just being able to talk to people, even in convention and other activities, doing those role play things has always been kind of scary. So I'm not really a role playing guy. So, but they've been great. Craig is awesome, and looking forward to meeting him. And
so what have you thought, Bart, that has kind of got yourself out of the comfort zone? As in, okay, just like you were saying, I'm not there yet. As in, really immersing myself into really using the structure in the way that it has, because maybe there's some fears. Is that what you're kind of telling me a little bit?
Well, yeah, and I don't have. I'm not very active at all as far as getting new clients. So I haven't had new clients to try these out on. So being able to do them during the boot camp is great, because I'm not doing it for real at this point. I don't have a lot of pre-clients. My son just joined up, Justin, and he's got a couple of new clients. So we're going to be doing some of these, or a couple of pre-clients. He had one yesterday, which I missed. I missed the call somehow. I was supposed to be on three-way or four-way with him and Clark, and he and Clark handled it. But unfortunately, I missed that one. I was really looking forward to seeing that one in action. But he has a couple more coming up. So he's all gung-ho about it, and I'm going to be enjoying working with him on that.
Okay.
He'll be at convention, so we'll see him there. He's the one with the big bushy beard. So one of them with the big bushy beard.
Big bushy beard. Well, and too, Bart, a couple things that you're kind of, saying is that, hey, I haven't tried really on a pre-client yet. And maybe that's a fear, that saying, hey, sometimes we look at trying to push through the pain, and it's like, can I really do this, or is this something that I'm able to really get past? And it's kind of baby steps. It's like, if you did a well-being with your son, if you've done a well-being with some of the other people, then in reality, we look at where we're at, and we look, okay, so what can we really push through in order to really see a breakthrough in what we're doing, and the boot camps and that we've attended, and that we're really trying to basically make better out of ourselves, and be a better coach. So Craig is here, sir. How are you this morning?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm a new grandpa, so I'm pretty excited about that. And
yeah, congratulations to that, man. Yeah, I see the posts.
My brain's been a little offline, so I went for I ride my bike on Tuesdays, and now I know why. I got a text from Clark, and I'm like, "What? Oh no! I thought that was over."
It's all good.
Last day.
It's all good.
Yeah.
We've been sharing the takeaways of people that are on this morning, to see what they've really accomplished, as in, as you go through this boot camp, and some of them it's the second time, and it's interesting to hear from each one to see what they've really accomplished, and the things that they're growing with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what's interesting is, if you have the skill and the infrastructure to go out and always be meeting new people and building relationships, and when anytime somebody invites you to something where there's going to be other people, say yes, because you constantly are needing to meet new people. And so you can know how to coach people, but then you never interact with people, and then it's great that you have the potential to help somebody, right? But so the reality is, working with your mentor and working on Facebook branding and messaging, how to have you know, if Facebook's just one area where you can have a strategy to do things. There's lots of Facebook strategies out there, and there's lots of stuff in Simple Systems on that. Another one is networking meetings. Another one is just, we went to a retirement party. One of my wife's people that works with my wife retired, and they invited us to come over. Well, we wanted to be there primarily for him, and then we got there and we're like, oh, there's people everywhere here. Well, and then you sit down and you talk with people, and one thing leads to another, and pretty soon they're like, well, here's my card. I sure need some help. And those things happen all the time, because it's standard polite conversation. When you find out what somebody does, they find out what you do, and you're able to have a great conversation with them. So that's the big thing, is get out there and start interacting with people, and look for people that are like you, that aren't as healthy as they want to be, and they may or may not be doing something about it yet, but they're not as healthy as they want to be. And when they find out that you're similar, but you have some skills, or maybe you have a couple of resources that you can share with them, then you guys can do this together. And then you can put all these things into place, because all of this knowledge about how to have conversations and bring people into community starts with you, connecting with people, saying hello. And I always told somebody, if you're not friendly and you don't really like people, this is probably not a good career choice. I mean, there's lots of other career choices where you don't have to work with people hardly at all. Go into the forestry service, and when people are out in nature, if that's your thing. But if you get tired of constantly saying yes to parties and constantly introducing yourself, and that might be, you might consider learning how to do that, or maybe this isn't super great for you. So I'm sure most everybody here enjoys people, and definitely enjoys helping people. So, well, we're going to get into the actual doing some 3 ways. This particular script is, we don't really need 3 people, so we're going to break you up into two people, and the only thing you'd miss out on is the coach portion. But you'll have the mentor coach, and you'll have the client. So one will be the mentor coach, one will be the client. And as you're the client, be an easy, nice, good client. And because really what you're trying to do is just give them a run through of the flow of things, and I'm going to share my screen here and just kind of give you another, just to sort of give a walkthrough. The beginning here is you're just sort of you're either reintroducing yourself to them, or you're potentially, if you haven't done one of these before, you're getting to know them for the first time. So refresh my memory. Obviously, if you've never met them before, you're going to have to change that, because it's not refreshing your memory. It's, can you tell me, some of the main reasons why you decided to work with your coach, and then you want to get them. The second thing here is you want to try to get them off of just what's happened on the scale, because the scale moving is just literally an arbitrary number. Them learning how to sleep better, learning that they can walk up and down stairs better. Those are the things that really impact someone's life. And so the scale, trying to get them beyond the scale. There we go. Instead of non-scale victories, beyond the scale victories. Anyway, I'm going to write that down. I'm creating some Velcro in my head right now because it's Teflon, and in about a minute and a half, I would have forgot that. And then you go over a few tips for success, which are what's down below here. And then this is the terminology or the actual vocabulary that you can say, and then you go through them. And by the way, these are very much similar to the 4 cornerstones. Stay connected with your coach. That's the first one. The habits of health system, your community, and then instead of going into fuelings, we go into live your journey out loud, because the fuelings are just so obvious. We don't really have to reinforce them. And that's kind of the way. Any questions before we jump out? Does that make sense? The flow of kind of what you're doing? You're just reiterating the cornerstones of what we do and seeing if they, if they're aware of that. All right. So we're going to go 2 people per room. And we'll give you guys about, I don't know what we have. We'll give you guys a good 20, 25 minutes. Try to give you as much time as we can. We'll just have a little recap at the end. All right, guys, go get them. Hello, Allison.
Hi there. Good morning.
Good morning. So, are you related to the other Purdy's on the line?
I am. I'm their daughter.
You are, okay.
Yes.
So we were an odd number.
Okay.
Out, but that's fine. I'll practice with you, and then you can. We'll see how that goes. So,
All right.
do you have the sheet
Thank
up, or
you.
do you want me to bring it up?
My process is to jot down my own notes of it. I feel like when I write, it sticks better in my head.
Yeah, good.
So I have my own script.
Okay, great. Well, we'll go
Cool.
through it then.
Congrats on becoming a grandpa, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, we didn't realize they were home yet, but they came. I guess I went to bed like at 11.
Uh-huh.
They weren't here, and then we woke up this morning and their car was here, so they came home sometime between 11 and 6.
Late night for them.
Yeah, that my son and his wife rent a room here.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Here at our house. Anyways.
Wonderful.
Yep.
All right. Well,
so let's just assume the introduction's already happened.
Cool.
And be the client.
you want to be the client?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Hey, Craig. Well, it is so great to speak with you again. I'm so excited to hear how this past week has gone for you. Can you refresh my memory on your main reason to get healthier?
Yeah, well, I wanted to, and initially I needed to lose some extra weight. It was affecting my lifestyle, and I have some, children and soon to be grandchildren coming along that I want to be able to, be an active part of their life.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to get you there. What things have you noticed that are already changing since you started?
Yeah, well, I've noticed that I'm sleeping better. I have more energy, and I don't know, my clothes are fitting a little bit different, but mostly I just have better energy and I'm sleeping better.
So great. That is really exciting to hear. And let me just tell you, I'm really glad to be a part of your transformation team. So as you know, I've been coaching for a while now, and I've noticed that people who are the most successful at not only losing their weight, but getting all the way to their goals, do a couple of things. I would love to share those tips with you, and I think you may want to jot them down so you can refer back to them. Do you have something to write on?
I do.
Okay, awesome. Well, are you ready for the first tip?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool.
I'm excited.
Me too. So the first is to stay connected to your coach. Let's call him Troy. So Troy is going to be the most valuable resource for accountability and also to encourage you along the way. Troy will also defend your why if you become complacent. Do you know what that means?
No, it's kind of, I'm not sure. I've never heard that before.
No problem. Well, basically, if you become complacent or you get stuck along the way, Troy is going to be there to remind you of why you started in the first place.
That makes sense.
So all of those important things, being able to play with your grandkids, having more energy, feeling more comfortable in your clothes, all of those reasons are things we're going to bring back up and talk about throughout your journey.
Great.
So how do you think having a coach is going to make a difference for you?
Well, yeah, I'm not doing this alone. It seems like it's more than just a weight loss thing because I'm working, I have somebody that's been here before to kind of guide me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an amateur.
Not for long, my friend. So the second tip, and this is where you're going to learn and probably feel less like an amateur, is making time to explore the habits of health. The Habits of Health system really includes our Habits of Health book, as well as our Living a Longer, Healthier Life workbook, our support calls, and our online community. I'll tell you, the simple reality is that if we fail to change our minds and our lifestyle, our results will be temporary at best. So it's important to take time each week to listen or read those materials so they really sink in. Do you think you'll have some time this week to read the introduction in the Habits of Health book?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, but I've already opened it up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm thrilled to hear that. And I know that Troy each week will be checking in on various topics that interest you. So over time, you can work through this book and really see how that applies to your life.
Okay.
The third tip is to build a healthy community around yourself. And you know what, this one might take some time to do. So in the meantime, we have a Facebook group you can plug into while you're building your own healthy community. So you'll get tips, inspiration, and also be able to share your own successes with the group. Do you know if you're a part of that Facebook group yet?
I think so. Yep, I think we are. Troy
Very cool. Okay, great. So you may peek in there this week and see if there are some things that you like, or maybe even make some comments if you're feeling brave. And the last tip that I want to share with you is really to live your journey out loud. So the more that you share with your friends and family about the work you're doing and why it's important, the more likely they are to support and cheer you on when you're around them. And this is great for accountability as well. So we've learned that people will support you and your goals when you're out and about. So when you're eating out at a restaurant or at a party or even another social event, even if they themselves aren't very healthy, but if you share with them, they will still be supportive of you. So who do you think in your life will be the most supportive person for this?
I think it's probably my wife. Yeah, my wife and a buddy of mine probably just my family, actually. They're pretty supportive.
Yeah, I love that you are already thinking about which friends may be supportive down the line. That buddy may not be supportive right now, but as you are moving through your journey and living more out loud, that may come.
I just go out with my family more than I do my friends, and so I was thinking of them first.
Totally. Well, soon everybody is going to be noticing that you are changing, that you have more energy, that you're looking smaller, and you may even seem happier. When this happens, you've really got two options. You can connect them to Troy so he can help them. But we find that most people prefer to work with somebody they already know and trust, and that would be you. So when this happens, we'll ask you if you would like Troy to coach them, or if you want to coach them simply by teaching them what you're doing. Either way, we just want to make sure that that person who's asking is getting the help and support.
Okay.
So lastly, I just want you to know that we're here to celebrate you and the changes that you're making. Troy and I are rooting for you and are just so excited to see the rest of your health continue to improve, for you to continue gaining energy and being more active and spending time in those quality relationships. It's just such a cool process to watch. So do you have any questions for me?
How long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching for 2 years.
And then did you have a weight loss story as well?
I did, actually. When I first found the program, I was working in a very stressful job and not taking care of myself. And I was watching my family, my mom and dad, just getting thinner and gaining energy and being really happy. And I decided I want a little bit of what they're doing. And so I was able to lose about 65 pounds. And it took me probably almost a year and a half to really see the importance of these things that I just shared with you, especially the community aspect and the habits of health. And I feel like I'm finally at a point where I'm living my life out loud in a way that is different than I have before. And I can just tell you it changes everything. It's like the glue that holds those pieces together.
That's great.
So, yeah. So do you have time for a short quiz?
Sure.
All right. So do you remember those 4 tips that I just shared with you?
Yeah, well, the first one is stay connected to Troy, and
Yes.
that'll be pretty easy. He's been a big help so far. And take time to actually learn these habits. And you told me the resources that Troy ordered for me in my first box. And then you talked about healthy community and connecting with the Facebook group, and even being bold to post, that I'm here and what I'm working on. I'll do that today. And then to let people know that support me, what I'm working on, because this is a hard thing, and I won't be able to do it by myself. So let them know, and then after, if they have questions, be able to refer them to Troy.
Totally. Nice job. Well, I'm thrilled, like I said, to be on this journey with you. So thank you for including me. And I really look forward to celebrating your next milestone with you.
Great. Thank you. Boy, perfect. You're a natural.
Oh, thank you. I'll say I feel nervous having you on the other line, but I'm thrilled to be able to get your input. And I feel like I've just been learning so much by watching this boot camp. And I know, well, my parents have joined your huddle. And so I've been spying and watching the recordings, and they're just so good. I mean, it's gotten me into action that I really haven't taken these past 2 years. And so that's just so good.
That's good. Did it feel, how did walking through that script feel for you?
I think some of the language I would tweak a little bit to make it sound a little bit more like me, which I kind of did already. I think when I talk to people, I don't want to sound preachy. I don't want it to sound like I'm lecturing to them. And so I love that there are questions interspersed throughout this, and really checking in, engaging how they're responding. That's a big thing for me. I think that
a big just info dump, blah, blah, blah.
And I tend to sort of shut down and get nervous if I see them like glaze over. And so having that continual interaction with questions and making it personalized is really helpful, I think.
Yeah, you did a great job of that. You kept bringing it back to the reasons why I told you, at the beginning. So you kept bringing it back to that nicely. And I saw you kind of, instead of melting away, you said shrinking, which is fine. It gets the same point across. And so I could see you making it your own, but you definitely, you didn't miss any of the flow of the important pieces that needed to be there.
Mm-hmm.
and then you sounded interested and like you were listening to what I was saying. So
Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
I love just the flow of all of the different scripts and trainings that we've gone through as far as the meet and greet going into this. I know that there's also like a 30-day check-in. Is that something that will be out there for us to learn about?
I'm trying to, yeah, it's basically the same thing. Instead of the first
Mm-hmm.
client story call, it's their month story call.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be asking, it has a lot more to do with who's noticing.
Sure.
What are you
Okay.
doing?
Yeah.
But so I'm looking to see if there's something in Simple Systems. I'm sure something's been created, but it's just generally that 1 month-ish.
Mm-hmm.
How far are you in the book? What have you read? Who's noticing? Those kinds of things. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that I'm sure it's like a traditional. This is the first client story call, so it's sort of been modified a little bit to be geared toward Optavia, to
Mm-hmm.
get 4 cornerstones.
Love it. Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of our scripts are going to be more cornerstone based rather than trilogy based.
Mm-hmm. It's so great. Like I shared in my story, things didn't click for me before. I didn't think about the trilogy in a way that applied to me. I think that it was like, okay, I'm talking to people about the things I want them to do, but it doesn't apply to me. And looking at it as the 4 cornerstones, for some reason, it's like, I can buy into that. I like that. That feels good. I can live my life that way. And it's amazing that by living the life, that people notice even if you're not saying anything. And even just in this past month, I've noticed people are asking, they do observe and see changes within you. And I think that's so cool. So.
Yeah. Well, the program flat out does work.
Mm-hmm.
And when we focus on these 4 things, it does. These are the things that actually do the heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's so much detail, and that's why when I envisioned that the cornerstones at the bottom with the pillars, there's a lot to build a pillar. You have to have a lot of. I don't know if you've ever seen a column in
I
like
have.
trees.
Yeah.
They're actually little wafers.
Mm-hmm.
They're like film canisters stacked on each other.
Mm-hmm.
They just pour the whole. Today, I think they would make a mold and pour it full of stuff.
Yeah.
But they had to have, and so each one of those little layers is like a habit, and you have to stack all those habits on that main cornerstone to build something that's structurally sound.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah. So, and then that builds. I was just trying to figure out that I know the trilogy is out there, sort of this concept, and then you had in the past we didn't have these same cornerstones. We had the coach, the habits of health, community wasn't really a big one.
Mm-hmm.
It was meal replacements, community, and meal replacements, habits of health, and your coach. I think I can't remember if it was really even that clear
specific.
As it is. Yeah. And so it sort of just all gelled together and made sense. But there's a lot, when you talk about community, there's a lot of little things that are, I mean, community makes your community is, who do you entertain with?
Mm-hmm.
Who do you socialize with? What about Super Bowl parties? What about, you're at the hospital all day waiting for your grandchild to be born, and what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of these, and then, someone orders pizza and you're like, oof, well, maybe I'm going to have pizza. Is this an exception or is this the rule?
Yeah.
And so just all those kinds of circumstances where you have to learn how to make healthy choices in the midst of all those things if you want to live in a healthy body.
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely
great stuff. Do you have any questions for me? We've got about 5 minutes left.
I don't think so, actually. guess not as far as what we just went over. I'm trying to think if I have other questions that I'll just take advantage of you right in this moment. Gosh, I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll pop back over on the other
Okay.
side here and go from
Cool.
there.
Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Great job.
Thanks. Okay.
There you are. You navigated it well.
Is my audio connected?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Now yours is. It just took a minute to kick in. Okay.
For it all to come together. Karen and Lauren.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. We did it.
You
Yeah, it
did
was pretty smooth. I was kind of surprised actually how smooth it went for both of us.
Yeah. What stood out to you?
Just having that script, just like Karen said, she kind of started to get off track, and it just kind of brings you back into what you need to be doing, so you're not wandering. Because my mind can go 100 miles an hour, and then I get off track very easily.
Mm-hmm.
So
And knowing when to talk about something and learning actually how to stop talking is a skill. Like, man, it's almost like you're about to go over the cliff and you're trying to stop, but you just don't know where the brakes are, and you just go off over the cliff, you know?
Right.
Yep.
And I think, Craig, in the past for me, you know, I've heard some of this, all these things for years, and you know what? I haven't fully embraced them because I've always kind of thought, you know, I want to go with my own creative processes. And yet you can still be creative with the structure of that, you know, with your own personality in it. But using it, I can just see how it's already shifting, you know, how I manage, you know, coaching people, because it makes me committed to do what I need to do the next step as well.
It's fun when you're training somebody on it, when you're training somebody else to be a coach and you have something to actually coach them with. You're on your game. It makes you really pay attention. And I agree. Initially, I think it seems like a script will quelch your creativity, but I actually think that it allows you to be more creative, because now you have the structure there. It's like I have the sandbox and I have the sand, and that's all the structure, you know, and then now I can build whatever I want. Whereas if I don't have a sandbox and the sand is just everywhere and I'm just trying to make it up myself, I don't have it's not as easy to do it. So yeah, the main points are those main 4 points. What you say will change and it'll grow over time, but it just makes sure you hit those 4 things. Right?
Yeah, and that's what I notice is when you hit those 4 things, that really that's so powerful, because that is the long-term success. Doing 4 things and helping that client to do that, because that's where a lot of my clients who some of them are returning. I did not get them connected in community, didn't get them connected with anybody else. And pretty soon it's just, you know, you drift and you're not communicating after a while.
Right.
Yeah. David Bush, we were talking yesterday, and remember we had clients, and then we had this idea called a fully integrated client. And initially the big thing was that we were to bring people on as coaches, and one of the criteria is that they were fully integrated as clients. And full integration means you have all 4 cornerstones. Essentially, you know, you're plugged into the community, you've been reading The Habits of Health, you are connecting with your coach, and you're getting results. That's full integration. And so we haven't talked about fully integrated client in a while, but the reality is those are the people that if you bring on a non-integrated client as a coach, they're going to replicate non-integration. And so we are reinforcing integration and by going through these scripts, but secondary, we're modeling mentorship and community as part of our teaching of the 4 components. And so it seems to be working together really nicely. So yeah, I agree. Anybody else have it? Did it feel awkward? Go ahead, Lauren.
One of the things I wanted to ask is like I want to practice, and then the last couple new clients, I've had to meet with them. It's not like a Zoom. It never worked out to be a Zoom call. It was a face-to-face meeting. So I can't really read off a script because that's kind of weird, but I guess.
Tell me why you think you can't.
I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it, but it just seems kind of strange that you just read off that script. But I guess if I just glance at it and then spoke, it would be okay.
So I'm going to role play with you right now. So Lauren, I'm always growing with my health coach skills. And so I have a couple of pointers here that I want to go through with you, and I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. Because I have a couple notes here that I'm going to use.
Okay.
Would that work for you?
Sure.
Okay.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's nice just to see that it was like a duh after the fact, but the reality is that
we're always learning. So.
And I think that's much more valuable than I memorized all this stuff.
Yeah.
Potentially thinking about being a coach, and she sees that you have little cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Ooh, I can use cheaters."
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's a good thing. Thank you for bringing that up. Was that all the main point you had?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And then when you brought the third person on, did they were on a phone call, or did you have them on a Zoom, or how did you get the third person?
I was thinking more of just meeting with a client for the first time, not so much this particular script, but so far this is, the third person thing has been on Zoom. So
good. Yeah. Rita, you had your hand up?
Yeah, because when Karen did a meet and greet, she was with her two of the clients, and then she brought me on for the meet and greet. So she did her thing, and then I just wrapped that up, and from my end, and so it worked really good.
Mm-hmm.
It was good.
And
Awesome.
and can I tell you, the reason it really worked really well doing it with that person was because the primary person speaking on those calls is the mentor coach. Mm-hmm. And the script that you're looking at for like a meet and greet is really the coach is doing it. And even on this one, the mentor coach is doing most of the talking. So even if you're in person, you're just doing the intro, and the mentor coach is on the other, is somewhere else going over those bullet points. So there's very little, and after a while, it's kind of just, you're not really doing a script. It's just natural because the flow is coming from the mentor coach.
Right. Yeah. The mentor coach needs to practice this. That's the main key. Yeah. Because the main coach doesn't do too much other than intro and outro.
Right.
But one of the last pieces here that I was just thinking about was I can't remember what I was thinking about. I lost it. So there we go.
It was a Teflon moment.
Yeah, I know, right? It just slipped out. But anyway, great stuff today, guys. Keep it up, and we'll be on again tonight for our final one. I think what I was saying is that after this, you have the 1 month, and 1 month is very similar to what we just did. And then the other piece is that they don't know the mentor coach very well. Right. And so that's why, and the mentor coach is doing most of the talking. So they talk to you all the time. So you're getting this other voice in their head, which helps a lot. And the last thing that I think you may not realize, most of the time in other companies, the direct marketing companies or, home-based business kind of companies, they bring the mentor coach on as the closer. Right. And think of how different this is. The mentor coach comes on to reinforce their program and to be a support system, not to try to sell them another product. Right? It's very different.
Yeah, they're already on the program. So
yeah. they're already in, and now it's like, now that you're in, great. Now we're going to expose you. If they haven't meant already, now we're going to expose you to our community because this is real. And there will be another one tonight at 7 p.m. It'll be our final boot camp for the week 4.
Oh, there will be one. I thought you had canceled that one because of traveling, but last time I thought you said there would not be one tonight. But
yeah, no, I'm not traveling to tomorrow, so I still plan on being there tonight at 7. So yeah, so if you guys want to join, great. Go ahead,
Now, is
Isabel.
there another boot camp that we're going to really put, because there are some other coaches that awesome. Are we going to do another one with Troy and,
Yeah, I assume that we're going to do another one. We're trying to work on, well, there's a couple things. One, we have Power Hour, which is a 1-hour work session that starts right after it started at 8 o'clock, just 3 minutes ago. I'm going to hop over there. But we do a 1-hour work session 6 days a week. And I can give you guys the link to join there. If you have a pen, it's 893-173-956. So 893-173-956. And we've got a Power Hour calendar that shows when the times are. But we do that as a regular ongoing sort of work group. And then we're working on Power Hour 2.0, where we'll move into the phase 2 of building your business and stuff. But at the end of all these things, there's a 1-month script. And the 1-month script is you're going to be talking about referrals, because, right, you're 3 to 4 weeks into it. And you're going to be talking about what else they're noticing. And, there's a check simple systems for the client story call, because it's just a general client story call. Go ahead, Clark.
Yeah, quick question. The Power Hour you just gave us, is that every Tuesday at 8 o'clock?
It is. Yep. There's I just posted in the chat. If you click that, it'll take you to the calendar, and then you can import that into your Google Calendar down in the bottom right corner. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us. Great job this morning.